War. War never changes.
Except for those. Those are on. Set at 30 frames a second. Check, check, check. Okay, you ready?
17.
There we go.
17. We already did 16. I'm great, man. How about you?
Hello, and welcome back to War Never Changes. Episode 16? Is that right? Are you sure? Let's do it again. And go. No, just kidding. How are you doing, man?
Really like it, so I'm fine with that.
But who are you? You are the legend, the man, the myth, the ultimate Halo champion himself, 50 caliber Phil McCracken. I gotta say, I think 50 caliber is your new handle.
At least the
I think
ones that
that's
I
where
use.
I'm gonna keep you at now. Well, it stems from the fact that you're a pretty good sniper in Call of Duty and a pretty good sniper in Halo. And most sniper rifles are 50 caliber sniper rifles, so of course. I am the other guy. You just call me Jim. Just boring old Jim. Just wearing my old dad, my dad's work shirt. Or is it
This week has been
everything's
insane for me.
backwards.
I don't
Give me a
remember the
second.
last time I ate.
Good old
so-
Millet Corporation.
I
I
don't know
never
what's
worked
going
there,
on.
but he's
It's
still
okay.
does.
I've got plenty of reserves.
So
don't
now,
worry about me going
not even a
hungry.
cool game shirt today.
I'm just
That's
saying,
how casual we are
It's,
because
this
it's been
week
a
has
very
moved so
casual
fast. I
week,
haven't
sir.
eaten yet today, and I don't know what time I ate
least for me.
yesterday.
How about you?
so. Nah, man. I was out the hotel door first thing this morning. Bang, bang, bang. Customer, customer, customer. And then it was a 3-hour drive home, and I didn't stop anywhere. And yeah, man, I just.
Wow, dude, I have to eat breakfast. If I'm not
How
eating
do you?
breakfast, then things are going wrong. Making those bucks. Well, listen.
Gotcha.
I'm
Yeah.
doing okay.
Sorry to hear
I've had
that.
a very busy week. I pulled my back. So if you see me sitting funny, if you see me leaning
Just so
my head
everyone knows,
weird,
Jim
or
hurt
if
his
you
back
see me
last
just
night
for
while we
like
were
a
playing
couple
Halo because
seconds,
he
like
had
in
to
a
carry
wince
the
of
load
pain,
on so many
my
of the
back is
levels.
all sorts of screwed up. I've just been having a hell of a time with my back all day. But I'm gonna power through because you deserve it. You deserve my best, Phil. Okay. I feel like that's a good place to start because today's going to be a very Xbox, Xbox centric show, and I want to first start with Halo because there's been some news, late breaking news, and you know how we are. We love to cover the hot new stuff each and every Wednesday, as long as it's by the time we record. But now, rumor is coming out, Phil, that Halo
Lies.
Infinite was
All lies.
delayed because
That's
the
total
creative team
bullshit.
at 343 had been spending so much time working on the upcoming Halo Showtime television show. I personally think that's crap, but I want to get your take on it.
Well, let's see. That was 600 years ago.
So, do you remember when they
So-
announced? Do you remember when Steven Spielberg came out during the launch of the Xbox One and he talked about the Halo TV show? Do you remember that? That was the launch. So that was like 2001.
I don't give a shit about this show.
So
Like,
that was when
the
Xbox
excuse
was
that they
like all
delayed
in on the
a Halo
entertainment
game because they were so
The
busy
console was
working on a
really supposed
TV
to
show.
be your entertainment
We're
hub,
fucking
and
video
that
gamers.
was
We
when he
play
came out and
video
talked about it.
games.
We haven't seen anything since then. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
We don't care that you were working on a TV show. We're like, oh, we're sorry, Xbox players. We couldn't make your game because we were working on a TV show.
You're so overmodulated. I love it.
I'm downstairs because my office is not. No, she
Do
knows
you
how animated
think
I am. If I was
that
actually
your
that
wife
wasn't
thinks you're
actually yelling.
okay?
If I actually like opened it up
She
and just started
downstairs
screaming
like
at the camera,
screaming.
she would probably come down here and check to see what was
She's
going on. But
yelling like the
I
roof
did
is
hear her shut
shaking, and
her
she's
office
like,
door, so she heard me.
"That was
At least
she."
I think I heard her shut her office door. I don't know. I don't know what's going on up there.
She would know. She would know, but okay, just checking on you. Okay, so I think it's funny because I always close the door here, and a lot of times I could hear Rachel on the outside, and she's like, "Jim." So, anyways, with that in mind, here's what I want to say. I think this is this. I think you. I agree with you. I think this is a really dumb excuse. I don't know how much a game designer would have influence on a television show anyway. They're wildly different animals. They're not going to be writing the script. You may be hitting off a couple people, the quote unquote lore masters of Halo, who are involved in this to say, hey, look, guys, we want to make sure we're getting the theme right. But from what I've read, they're taking a radically different direction on a lot of these characters anyway. They're going to change a lot of the characters, a lot of their interactions, and it's going to be kind of like not a piece of lore, but like an Elseworld story. Like, meanwhile, or this other alternate universe where things may be
What
similar,
a
but they're not. So I agree with you.
what
I
a
think it's a really
half-hearted what a
nonsensical excuse, and I
half-hearted
think if
like
343 thinks
attempt
that
to
somehow like they
placate
pulled a quick
to
one over on
placate
us,
us.
I
Like,
don't think it's
well,
working.
this thing that everyone forgot about, that no one probably cares about at all. Uh, all right, everyone. You know what? You know what? Halo being delayed, it's Jim's fault.
Except me.
Okay? He's the
But
one that
yes,
wanted this show, and that's why they had to work on it. So this is Jim's
I
fault.
care.
He has literally
Hey, look,
crippled a
I'm a Halo
franchise,
guy.
which crippled a gaming manufacturer, which is going to cripple the gaming industry in ways we can't even fathom. And all of that led directly back to Jim's greed and selfishness. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for ruining Microsoft.
It's I
Nintendo, you better
love
watch out.
Sony so much that I need to destroy the competition. Me just loving Sony isn't enough anymore. I need to murder all other consoles. Absolutely. Mario. Yeah, we actually have some Nintendo news later on. But okay, I just wanted to get your take on that because I thought that was a very odd story that's starting to make the rounds. But okay, I think we're in wild agreement there. So I'm going to press the button here and hopefully this works. It worked. Okay, cool. You can't see it, Phil, but everyone else can. Actually, let me shrink this a smidge. So what I am showing on the screen now is the new Xbox One UI, and I didn't get the push for it. I guess it's happening like today at some point. Have you been on your console at all? Oh no, you said you're out on the road working. So Xbox, they usually do a big summer user interface update, and we now have our new one. And this is going to be the one that carries us into the Series X, by the way. If you remember, Xbox made the distinction they're not going to be separating user interfaces anymore.
Yeah,
So the
it makes
Xbox
sense.
One, the
No,
Xbox
I
One
I
S, the
do care.
Xbox
I
One
just
X, and the Xbox
you
Series
know,
X will
one
all look the
one
same,
like
at least
one
in terms of
possible
like
thing we could have been
graphical user
excited for
interface.
if
Does that
they had
make
just
sense?
waited to
You
show
don't
us
care?
on the release of the Series X. Brand new user interface. No, we're gonna give it to you early. Don't buy the console. Just don't do it. There's no reason.
I honestly, without even getting into this yet, and I do have it open here, I'm looking at the official website right now. That is actually a really good point. That this is yet I didn't even really put that together, and me being so down in the dumps on this, that's actually a very interesting point. That they would have been nice to hold their cards back. I mean, I don't think you and I have talked about this before. I'm not a huge fan of the Xbox UI as it stands now, but it's functional. I mean, it does what it needs to do, right? I don't, but you're right.
I'm
This would be
actually genuinely
something that I
disappointed in
think
this.
people
Like,
could
I
have got
didn't know
excited
about this
about.
news. I
Like,
have
hey,
been
you
out of
open your
touch
brand
with
new console,
reality
plug it in, and
all
what does it
all
look
week.
like?
So
But now
I
you're going to
haven't
know the
looked at
answer.
any of my normal stuff. It's like been a trend the last 3 weeks. I haven't done any show prep. I'm sorry, Jim. You consistently are prepared and you're delivering, and I'm not. But just as a gut reaction to this, just finding out
Right.
about it right now, my mind immediately went cynical. And now that I'm thinking about that cynicism, it's really reinforcing itself in my
Yeah.
mind, and I'm disappointed now because there was still legitimate, there's still, and there still is, there's a
Right.
legitimate chance that I'm still going to acquire an Xbox Series X. But that is something that I love. I love getting a new console and plugging it in and seeing the UI and being like, wow, that's really cool, and exploring it. And now
Proud
that's
of you.
one less thing I have to look forward to this console. And you know what? The only thing left to be excited about is how powerful it is, and I'll never ask it to do anything where it would need to demonstrate that power. So, I mean, it was supposed to be, getting tested by Halo, but Halo was rendered on Xbox 360 technology, as we saw from those clouds. So, yeah. What's funny? The high definition clouds actually accidentally got put into the TV show, and the TV show's clouds got put
It's
into
actually an iPhone.
Halo.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, wow. Heart. I love it. So, well, I'm still excited for it because I am not getting a Series X. And I say bring it on because why not? But I do agree
no.
with your observation. I think that's really good. Do you remember the Xbox 360 had a functionality called a beacon? Do you remember beacons? So I was a huge Gears head. I don't really play Gears much anymore, but I was really into Gears of War 3. It was definitely, anytime I talk about my first console online experience, I always go back to Gears 3 because that was the first game that I lived and died online with. And one of the really cool features they added, coincidentally, right when Gears 3 came out, was a beacon. And it would automatically, if you enabled it on your console, you press the button and it would notify all of your friends, hey, Jim is playing Gears and he needs help. And your friends would get just like, normally you get an achievement or something at the bottom, it would pop up for everyone. And it would fill up a queue and automatically invite you to the party and automatically invite you to
That
the
was a lot
game
of fun. I gotta
to
say,
join me.
personally, for
And it
me,
was
that
really,
was a lot
really
of fun.
cool. If you didn't want it on, you could disable it. It's not like people would spam you, not like the time you sent me 7,000 friend requests or whatever the hell it was. And it's just kept popping up over and over. Even after I joined the party, by the way. So the beacon thing was something personally that I was always very interested in, and I loved it. And for whatever reason, I think because Xbox put an emphasis on the entertainment side of things, they lost kind of track of that. And finally, they've now decided to bring it back. So, among other things, the new Xbox One dashboard is going to include a light and a dark theme, which I care about a lot. I only use dark themes whenever I can because my eye's so screwed up, so I like it personally. But I wouldn't say that's like a system seller. The fact that it's exactly the fact that it's a dark theme doesn't really matter a whole lot, but it does to me. Something they're going to introduce is better wallpaper now. So you're going to be able to select pretty much any screenshot, any achievement you've got. You're going to make that a wallpaper. You're going to be able to still have the accent color. So it's going to be, when you highlight things instead of the green box, it might be blue or red or whatever. That's not really revolutionary. But I think the big thing is that they are really implementing what they call immersive community updates, which is almost like an overhaul. It kind of reminds me of like a Facebook wall. It's going to allow you to post screenshots, post game clips, and it's also going to bring back a version of looking for group, very similar to the beacon. So if your friends are online, you're going to be able to see how many people are on. You could organize like community events and it'll blast it to all your friends. I mean, you could just text them too, but if you have a lot of friends, you could say, hey, look, I want to play Forza at 9 o'clock on Wednesday. I'm looking at a screenshot here. I need 6 people to participate, and so far 3 have responded yes. And you could do this just with your friends, or you could open this up to the world. So, if you want to do kind of in-game
No,
matchmaking,
that sounds great.
you
I'm
can,
glad
which
that
I think
they're
is cool.
putting
think
in
that's a
all
nice
this
touch.
work on this user
I don't think
interface
it's a
for a
bad thing,
console
right?
that no one's going to play in a year.
Maybe that's why they're overhauling it now because they're thinking people like jump into it. They're also adding more customization in terms of grouping for what's on your home list, what's on your drop down bar. It's supposed to be smart, so it's supposed to figure out things you like and recommend games for you or
Yeah.
recommend
No. Hey.
other things for you to check out on the
No.
console.
No. Hey
So
guys. Hello,
I'm okay with
Xbox
it. I mean, I'm
consumers.
not
It's
saying it's the
Microsoft
greatest
here.
thing ever,
We've
but
stopped manufacturing this console. Here's a fucking user interface update for it. Because why not? Fuck you. Fuck all of yous. No,
you
no,
know,
no,
you
no,
have
no,
really.
no.
I feel
You
like
don't
my
get to
work here is
take
done.
credit for this.
My
Xbox
secret
did this to
mission.
me. Okay? You just were party. You were just party to the decline. You saw it happening in real
I
time. This is nothing to do with you, and it's everything to do with their fucking stupidity
I
and
did. I did.
ineptitude and inability to deliver a consistent product or a product that anyone with half a brain would want.
My secret mission was to get you to become a PlayStation guy. So I'm just gonna hold up the Elite controller that always sits on my desk and remind you that Xbox isn't that bad, Phil. They do well, okay? They make quality products. I don't know. I guess I like when you're in a mood like this because it's funny. Because I think anything I say you're just gonna shit on now.
No, not necessarily.
Like I can talk
Let's
about
talk about
anything.
Nintendo.
Well, sure, we'll jump to Nintendo. I got more
Oh,
Xbox
okay.
stuff,
Well,
but
then
we'll
stay on the
table that for
Xbox
now.
stuff. That's
No. You brought it up, and let's keep the train rolling. Earlier today, or late last night, it's been announced or leaked, whatever you want to call it, that there is a Breath of the Wild 2 SKU, which is unique like item number for each product. I don't know what SKU stands for. Maybe you do. Does it matter? Do you know what SKU stands for?
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
SKU is short for stock keeping unit, in case you're wondering. Anyways, a SKU has been announced for the Breath of the Wild 2 Collector's Edition.
In France, right? French Amazon page
Yes,
or eBay, maybe.
it was French Amazon page. It was taken down almost immediately, but has been since verified by other vendors here in the United States, including Target, which does openly allow you to search for their products on a site called BrickSeek. I use it quite a bit when I'm looking for cheap games to pick up. That number has been found. It has been since removed, but it did exist, and I did see it. So the question is, Phil, is Breath of the Wild 2 coming out this year? This is a tough question, man. I didn't realize I was going to get you stumped so fast. Do you want it to come out this year? Are you ready for a new Breath of the Wild? Is it too soon?
It's not too soon.
It's
It's the
never
perfect
too
time for it.
perfect time. So,
I I will say
mhm.
I genuinely don't know because if it's going to come out, I mean, right before Christmas would be genius because they'll clean up. They'll clean up. People have been buying Switches off the shelves like it's nobody's business. Nobody has a Switch in stock because as soon as they come in, they're purchased. So everyone has the console now, and the premier franchise outside of anything that says a little Italian plumber's name on it for that specific
Yeah.
console is Link and Legend of Zelda. So for them to release that title after the banner year that they've had with um, Animal Crossing, I
Yeah.
mean, it just makes sense. It does, and I don't know, man. Now I'm getting excited. I think that there's a legit possibility, but the only trepidation I have is, do they really want to get into the mix of this Christmas season with two new consoles out there? And I think yes, they do because people have more discretionary income this year than they've had in any year to date in memory because nobody's spending money on going on vacation this year.
Right.
And everyone's been in lockdown. So you would think that the people who aren't looking to upgrade a console are definitely looking to get that game.
So it's interesting you say that. Yeah, Nintendo's been the silent partner in all of this. PlayStation and Xbox battling back and forth, Recall this was supposed to be the big hot anniversary of Mario. It's supposed to be the 75th anniversary. We really haven't seen much. I'm sorry, not the 75th, 35th anniversary.
I was gonna say, what?
75th. He's been around a long time.
If in 75 years Peach can't figure out how not to get kidnapped, I don't know that I want to keep going with that story. But
He's immortal. It's like, oh, the princess got kidnapped again.
it's a me, a Mario.
So yeah, that was a big thing, and a lot of fans, I know I did, really put a lot of emphasis on the fact that we were going to get this big Mario. It was supposed to be a remaster of like Mario 64, and yeah, all these great like classic Mario games, and everybody's got really excited. And now we're into August. We're mid-August at this point, and there's really nothing. And if a console can release two, I'm going to say two, and I just made this number up because it makes sense and it works for the show. If they could release two good games a year, I think they're doing okay. We've been spoiled by PlayStation, no doubt about it, and we've been disappointed by Xbox, also no doubt about it. But really, outside of Animal Crossing, it's been kind of a quiet year for Nintendo. They're still selling a lot of units. They're doing a lot of great sales on their site. There's still a lot of great games out there to be played, particularly the indie variant, because they just had their big indie world yesterday, where they announced a bunch of new indie games coming out. But they haven't had a first-party title in a long time, and I feel like Zelda could be that game. I would be excited for it.
Isn't Animal Crossing one of their IPs?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Outside of Animal Crossing, though, we haven't seen much in a while.
Okay.
In terms of like first-party games, I'm talking. I'm not talking about. Yes, they have a lot of great ports. People. They announced like Untitled Goose Game is coming to the Switch. It'll be a big hit, but that's not a system seller in terms of like Nintendo. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what does sell systems?
Tell me.
Legend of Zelda sells systems, buddy.
It does. Yeah, it's been a while, so I feel like it would be a good time.
I agree. Well, gaming community, maybe we have something beyond two new consoles to be hopeful for this Christmas season.
That would be really, really good. Let me ask you this. What is the one Nintendo franchise you miss the most? It could be Zelda. I mean, if you're really, really jonesing for more Zelda, it seems like we've gotten a lot of attention from Zelda over the last year. But my question to you is, what is a Nintendo franchise you miss? It could be an existing one. It could be an old one. It could be something in between. What's the one thing that you need that's going to make you smile, Mr. Phil?
And it's really tough, man. That's really tough.
Well, while you think about it, I'll tell you the correct answer is Pilot Wings.
Is what?
Pilot Wings. Can't even say it with a straight face. Did you ever play Pilot Wings? What a phenomenal experience Pilot Wings is. I am not kidding you. I have beaten Pilot Wings on the Super Nintendo probably 50 times. No joke. I mean, I just played it like 2 weeks ago. I just played the whole thing beginning to end again. I just love it so much.
Is that what the franchise was called, Pilot Wings, and it ended on the Super Nintendo?
Nope, they actually had a N64 variant, and then they had a variant for the Nintendo 3DS called Pilot Wings Resort. You fly around a resort, you collect rings, you do tricks, you have an airplane, you have a jetpack, you have a hand glider, sometimes you get a little helicopter. And it was just kind of like Mario Kart, but like really low key. There was no racing or anything. It was just very like flying around. You had your little me in the airplane, and it's just a goofy guy, and you could do like donuts. And it's just such a chill game. Like maybe that's why people didn't really take to it. It's definitely like a dark horse of Nintendo games, no doubt about it. But I feel like I know they're working on Metroid. They've already said that. We saw the number 4, and they said Metroid Prime in development. We know that's coming at some point. But Pilot Wings is the thing that would get me going. So now that you thought about it a little bit more, what do you need? You need another Mario Kart? You want more Smash? You want another Mario game? What do you need, Kid Icarus?
I need a new co-host.
Well, really simple. I just press this button and that was it. You were by yourself. I was gone. I just faded out, bro.
No, I'm just gonna, my mind is like rushing to all these like old school games I used to play, and my
Yeah.
brain's like, say something that legitimizes you, say something that
No,
only
it's
hardcore
what you
fans.
want, man.
But you know what it is? You know what it is for me? I just want another cool, fun Mario game.
Yeah.
The last one where you were flying around in like the hot air balloon between
You
galaxies.
would be referring
I
to
had,
Mario
I,
Odyssey.
yes, I had some fun with that, but not as much fun as I had with like Super Mario Sunshine or Super
Really?
Mario 64.
Hmm.
Yeah, I enjoyed Sunshine and 64 way more than Odyssey, and I just, I'm not saying we need to put out the same shit year after year after year, and I had my fun with those games, and that was their intention. They moved on, but that's what I miss. I want them to put out another Mario game that I fall in love with, like I fell in love with those two games.
All right, so maybe it's because my first ever E3, which was a couple years ago, that's when Odyssey was released. But the whole area, the Nintendo part of the Los Angeles Convention Center, their booth was modeled after a real life variation of New Donk City. So on all the walls, they had like building landscapes. All the people were dressed up in like the NPCs in New Donk City. They were playing the music constantly in the background. It was just this larger than life moment. Rachel and I were just like kids in a candy store. So to me, New Donk City is just like I want to live there. Like I would totally live there and just die there and be happy. So I think for me, that hype of that level, just that level, makes the game like so good. But I understand that maybe not everybody loved it as much as other ones. But to me, driving around in New Donk City reminds me of E3, how cool it was to go to my first ever like conference like that. So I'm still content with that. If I need a Mario hit, I'm gonna go back and play that level again.
Yeah, that excitement must have been before the media got to you and jaded you and made you feel unwelcome.
Yeah, I only had like 2,100 subscribers instead of like 2,300 now, and upper class, baby, upper class.
What are you talking about?
My YouTube channel.
Oh, I don't know how your YouTube channel got into it. I meant like you said that there was an elitist vibe from the people who would normally cover those things before they became open to the public.
Correct. And as when I entered into that space, I realized I was better than everybody. And my YouTube channel
Oh,
was my conduit in which I could broadcast my excellence, and my numbers surged in the tens. The tens, Phil. But like I feel like a new I get what you're saying, and I hear you. And I did not forget about Paper Mario, because there's probably somebody out there screaming, but what about Paper Mario? No, listen, I'm telling you, like, we bought that game, we still haven't played it. That is not a system seller. A proper Mario game to me is a little too soon. However, I feel like Nintendo still has some time to make some waves. They're still selling a lot of units. Now it's time to capitalize. And I hope this is rumors true. I'm ready for another Zelda game. Maybe it'll run a little better than the first one. But I am totally ready for it. Bring it on. Frame rates, baby. It's got to be. You got to have 60 FPS. That's it. We're entering the era of good quality now. I don't want any more
on the
skips.
Switch?
Yeah, at least good. At least solid 30. At least give me 30. That
You didn't like Breath of the
I
Wild?
loved it. It was my game of the year, but it sure had a lot of hiccups in it. Docked or undocked?
Hit that button again.
Okay. Bye, everyone. I'm back.
This is what we could have, but he just won't shut
Oh,
up and go away.
I didn't realize I came back. I interrupted your moment. I'm sorry. I didn't know what was
Oh,
going on there. Okay.
it's okay. Don't worry. You were superfluous to the process.
So let's jump back. Speaking of, this ties into something that I have a little quiz for you, a little test for you. Going back to good Xbox news, positive Xbox news. We're gonna try this again. We're gonna get those juices flowing on the Xbox. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Do you care about it?
Um,
Have you played it?
no, I don't have a gaming PC.
I'm not the new one, but I mean, have you played, like, weren't they ever on Xbox before? Or they've only ever been on PC?
I don't know. I've never played one. I would like to play the new one just to check it out, but it's only available on PC. And they announced that on the Xbox on the Xbox Facebook the other day, and people weren't happy.
Well, it's interesting because this is definitely it does send kind of an odd message, and there is some silver lining to this, but it does send an odd message when they say gaming is for everyone. Then they put a little asterisk and they go, only if you have a very high powered computer, because this game is bringing computers down to their knees. Um, Not mine, of course, but other people's are having a lot of hard time running this game. And I'll tell you that it's very graphically intensive, but the question is there really a game here? And there is stuff to do, but it's so heavily based on simulation that it doesn't really feel like a Forza game where it's like they'll put you in situations or anything like that. It's more, okay, what airplane do you want? What airport do you want? Okay, go play. It's not, you make up your own stories. You know what I mean? You don't really feel like you're being directed per se.
No, this is a great space for terrorists with high-end computers to get training.
Well, I mean, I guess that's true. I never thought of that, but that makes sense. I'll tell you that I think, the fidelity is very good on this game, and the planes do seem to very highly replicate stuff. And I think like really hardcore airplane enthusiasts, however many there are out there, are going to have a field day with this. I just don't know why Microsoft has invested so much into this because it doesn't seem like it's going to reach a very large audience.
Well, yeah, there's the people who are super into aircraft are going to have a field day with that.
Right.
Well, the people who are super into aircraft that are also super into PC gaming, that are also super into PC gaming simulation games centered around aircraft. That
It's a very small circle.
Yeah, no, but I'm glad that Microsoft spent so much time investing their energy into that and a Halo TV
Oh,
show.
here we go. Now hold on. I told you there's some positive, and I'm bringing it back. Now we're gonna smile because it is one of the best rated games ever. It's a very high Metacritic score. People are loving this game. I'm not saying it's the reason to buy Game Pass, but it yet again continues to build up the idea of what Game Pass is. Now, on top of all the other things that Game Pass is giving you for PC, it is now also going to give you a really phenomenal flight simulator. Phil doesn't care. Phil just walked out on the show, everybody.
No, I'm still here. I just got to plug this piece of crap
Phil
computer
just
in.
rage quit. He just said, I just don't even care anymore about this. Here, now he's back. I put a picture of Phil back up because at least it's not an empty window. And now the real Phil is back. Dude, I am so
Hi.
glad I got that picture of you in the background. I can just press a button and you're there and you're smiling and you're happy. So when you're sad about Xbox, I could just boop. Nope, he's happy. But I think it's a good thing that they've done this. And it leads me to this week's game. I decided that I'm going to try every week to quiz you on your gaming knowledge, Phil. We'll see how it goes. This
Okay.
is week one. This is the inaugural run of this. And this week's game is Metacritic scores because we were just talking about how this game is incredibly highly rated, okay? But it is not the highest rated Metacritic score of all time. And I'm going to press the button. Whoosh, there we go. Now, Phil can't see the answers, but you at home can play along. Phil, I am looking for the name of the number one, number two, and number three highest rated Metacritic game scores of all time.
I almost saw the title of one in the reflection in your glasses, but then you moved.
No kidding. Wow. I thought that's what you were doing. Here, I'll do this. Now you can't see.
I just want to go on record as saying that this is something I didn't know was going to happen.
Nope.
This is like Jim just randomly throwing something at me. And to you, Jim, I say I refuse to participate in this exercise.
Too bad. You're going to do it.
All right, what was the question?
Don't stall for time looking. I'll know. Because there's no way, if you guess.
You can see my hands. What are you talking about?
I don't see both hands, first of all. Okay, now I see both.
What's the question?
Now I see both hands. No cheating with Siri or Alexa or any of that. I will know. I will know. The question is on.
Hey Siri, what do you know about video games? Oh, fucking nothing.
Nothing. The question is, Phil, I need to know the top 3 rated Metacritic score games of all time. That's what I want to know. Tell me what the
I
number
have no
one
idea.
is.
I'm gonna guess
Yes.
franchises or individual
Individual
games.
games. So, for
Tetris.
example, Mario would not be the correct answer, but Mario 64 could be. It's not.
Original Tetris.
Tetris is not number one, believe it or not.
The Sims.
Nope. You're going to kick yourself, by the way. What was the definitive N64 game to have?
GoldenEye.
The definitive one? I mean, GoldenEye was fun.
Jim, I will punch you in the face if you say something bad about GoldenEye.
Will you slap me in the face with Odd Job? Slappers only, dude. Slappers only. Slappers only. Odd Job.
I guess I could call it odd job in that one situation.
Let's spilled water there. The number one game, Phil, believe it or not, with a 99, a nearly perfect Metacritic score, is Ocarina of Time.
Oh, Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, whatever.
Because you said Ocarina.
I'm from the north. That's how we say it. That's how we say it in Chicago. When I play an ocarina. It doesn't matter. You're still wrong. It doesn't matter. Don't turn this into me. You're the one who didn't know this.
I'm okay. I'm okay with being wrong, but it's like, you know, the two letters OC combined don't say oak.
Oak.
It just doesn't work
Oak,
like that.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like a body of water, a thin body of water is a creek. It's not a creek, it's a crick. I know.
Okay. He's using Alabama-ish as like some sort of weird justification for not knowing how to properly say the title of the most popular video game of all time, apparently. But you know what, dude? You're right. I fucked that up so bad because Ocarina of Time is one of my favorite games ever. But when you said the definitive, like anytime I ever talk to my buddies about N64, the only thing I hear about is GoldenEye.
GoldenEye was a phenomenal game, but I think Zelda just really was so good in that it was so different, open world. Just the dream of what Miyamoto set out to do was realized in that game. I think everybody has fond memories of getting to Lon Lon Ranch, rescuing Epona, jumping over the fence, and then the whole world was yours on a horse. That was just, to me, that's the moment, but I understand. All right, Phil, moving on to number 2. And I moved the screen away, so there's no cheating this time. There's no, if you can get this game right, I will give you $1. $1 American. I will PayPal you $1.
I'm guessing you don't think it's obvious, so I won't say Majora's Mask. Not that probably would.
If you had asked me this, and I'm gonna put it back up here, but I'll move it out of the way. If you had asked me this game like a long time ago, there's no way. Like I will tell you, I'll even give you a huge hint. It has the number 2 in it, and you're still not gonna get it.
Oh.
Think of every game ever that came out. This is the second highest Metacritic, and this is to prove a point, but we're making a game out of it because it's a light news week. But the second best rated game. Go ahead and give it one guess, and then I'm going to tell you.
I'm not even trying to think of the game. I'm trying to think of the name of the of the game that they played in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, number 2, Electric Boogaloo. I don't know. Tell me what it is.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. It's the second.
Oh, that's not that.
That's
not that mind-blowing.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 was a fun game, but the second highest rated game of all time, I don't think so.
Well, you have to remember that idiots have access to the internet, Jim.
So I will tell you.
Thank God.
I will tell you that and I guess you could argue since there's a couple games that sit in this rating, but based on its Metacritic scores from all the platforms combined, it does have the highest average. I will tell you games that are not number 3. Grand Theft Auto 5 is not number 3. Red Dead Redemption 2 is not number 3. Mario Galaxy 1, Mario Galaxy 2, Soul Calibur, not number 3. What is the number 3 rated game, Phil? I mean, I named some pretty big hitters there, so I've cleared out some of the ones in your head that you're probably like, maybe not.
Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Grand Theft Auto 4 is rated number 3 of all time. Oh, Vice City actually falls in. Vice City got a 95, so it's definitely in the top, 15 or so.
Grand Theft Auto 4 with Nico Bellic. That guy.
It's rated number 3.
Number 3 overall.
Yes, and this is the point I'm getting to. This is the reason.
Metacritic doesn't mean shit.
This is what I'm getting at. This is my point. And I mean, it was a fun game, but it was kind of leading into something.
No, it wasn't. It was dark and dreary. Stupid.
Dreary. It was a dark and dreary game.
It's always raining.
It's sad. They're killing the pandas. Listen, the Metacritic scores, to me, the critical eye, the journalists who know best, the pundits, I think this is proof that scheme doesn't work anymore. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, great game. I played it. I loved it. If you played enough, you could unlock Spider-Man. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Grand Theft Auto 4, interesting idea, fun open world, especially because coming out on the next gen at the time, the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360. Fun game, but there's a lot of really good games out there today that did not make this list. So what I'm getting at is I think these reviews in general as a selling point are kind of a moot point now.
Yeah. I don't give a shit what anyone who's paid to rate video games says about a video game. I don't. I can't imagine in what world, in what universe Grand Theft Auto 4 is the number 3 best video game of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that Skyrim is not up there when the number 2 spot and the number 3 spot are so laughably wrong. I mean, I actually agree with Ocarina of Time. I do.
Yeah, it's a good game.
It's a perfect game. It's a phenomenal game. I don't know. I just there's so many better games. I mean, I'll even let the number 2 spot slide because that game not only was a phenomenal game, but it legitimized skating as like a mainstream thing. I feel like for a lot of people.
Totally.
But I don't know, man. That number 3, that's not going to sit well with me ever. I hate
GoldenEye. I did a little recon while you were talking. GoldenEye actually comes in at number 27, just above Uncharted 2 and just below BioShock. So it's interesting. I mean, you get to a certain point when there's just like the must-play games, and they even have a banner, must play this game. But I guess what I'm getting at is I don't really trust critics much anymore. And I know I'm an unofficial critic on YouTube. I do a lot of personal reviews of talking about games. I don't assign them scores anymore. And I think this is why. It's very hard to put a number on something that means something because you're always comparing it to things around it. I mean, maybe at the time, I don't know. Maybe when Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, maybe there wasn't a lot going on. And people were just like, wow, and I got something to do all summer. I don't know. Or maybe it really propelled the Xbox 360 sales. Who knows what was going on? That was 2008. That was a long, long time ago. A very different world back then. But what really kind of made me think about this topic, somewhat segueing, is I played Marvel's Avengers this weekend. It's a free demo for both PC. Well, I won a code for PC. I also got it. PlayStation has it for free this last weekend. I know everybody's going to get to experience it this coming weekend. I love the game. And the critical reception on this game is absolutely in the toilet. And it made me realize a lot of my friends, I think, are really getting wrapped up in these reviews and saying, well, if it was reviewed now, IGN would give it a 7 out of 10. And 7 out of 10 is not a good game. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So that's why I did a little recon. And I just wanted to point that out and just say, like, as time goes on, I feel like what you're saying is very true. I think that we put too much faith in the game journalists. And honestly, when lists like this come out, it kind of lets us down.
Yeah, it's such an objective thing. Like the Rolling Stones, like top 100 guitarists of all time.
Right.
Who's consistently at the top of that? Jimi Hendrix. At least the last time I read it, he was at the top.
But even then, like definitively, like in that example, he is good. Is he the greatest ever? Maybe. But when you start putting scores to things, it really like, okay, the dust is settled. Because Metacritic is an aggregate. So it is not just one person saying this. This is journalists around the world all chipping in, talking about their experience. Like Metacritic is based on 22 critical reviews and over 1,000 user reviews. All those are jumbled in to come up with a score.
Well, a lot of idiots got together that day to elect number 3 to its position. Yeah, man, these lists are so. It's all a matter of opinion, man. And
it is. You're right. It is.
The only opinions that count are the ones that have the most followers, I guess, and that doesn't make you right or wrong.
I agree.
I would think that you would be a better video game commentator or reviewer than 99% of whoever's out there right now getting all the attention. I know that I am much more entertained by you than I am by Jeff Keighley. That's not anything against Jeff Keighley. I think he's a great guy. I love watching his stuff. I like watching it with you. He's funny. He's corny. He's a great dude, but I'd rather watch you. Fuck Alf.
Do you know ALF stands for Alien Life Form?
Yes, I did.
Fun fact. Might win you a game of Trivial Pursuit one day. You never know.
Moving on.
Moving on. I will say that I think a lot of the critics are nervous about disappointing the gatekeepers. And if you were critical of Bethesda, you might not get invited to the Bethesda conference next year. So everybody's a winner in today's society. And I think the reviewers are people too, a lot of them breaking out, doing their own content outside of their affiliated network. And I think it's pretty clear when you see stuff like this happen.
Hi, Bethesda. I'm Phil. I really like most of your games, but Fallout 76 was a hot piece of trash. And I don't give a fuck if you don't invite me to your conference next year.
Man, well, we have an opening. That's going to be the cold open, no doubt about it. That was at 47 minutes. Got it. All right, Phil. Wrapping up this week's show. I want to know, what are you playing? What have you been up to? What games are we into? What are we doing? What makes you tick? And don't say work. Don't say work.
This week,
work doesn't count.
I've played about a cumulative, and you boosted it by thousands of % last night. I've played a cumulative maybe 5 hours of video games since Sunday night, and 3 of it was with you last night. So the other 2 hours, I've spent time playing Halo 2 and Far Cry 5 so far this week. I still haven't finished up Far Cry 5.
So with Far Cry, do you play, because I know you've played this game numerous times, and I remember when you and I started becoming friends and we started talking a lot more, you were just like playing Skyrim over and over and over and over and over again. Do you play it different every time? Like, you've played Far Cry now, like this is like what, your 10th playthrough? Like seriously, like how many times have you played this game?
Far Cry 5, it'll be my 4th playthrough.
So what do you do? Do you like, I'm going to go north this time, I'm going to go east, I'm only going to snipe, I'm only going to use a shotgun? Okay, you do. All right.
Yep. So I changed my loadout because I can do a new game plus profile every time I log in, and I carry over all my weapon unlocks and stuff like that.
Right.
The manner in which I unlock fangs and guns for hire changes every time. The order in which I take out the seed siblings changes every time. Okay. My focus changes. Sometimes I like to do the main story missions first and then do and then destroy cult property, and then liberate the cult outpost. This time, I went north first immediately, which I've never done. I usually either start with John or with Faith. I went straight up to get Jacob out of the way, and I'm liberating cult outposts. I'm eliminating all the cult outposts first before I do any story missions, except the first introductory one. I get that out of the way,
Right.
and then I liberate all the cult outposts. I'm destroying all the cult property, and then I'm liberating all the fangs and guns for hire in the area. And then once I'm fully armed, I'm doing the story missions, and my loadout that I've restricted myself to this time around is the compound bow, the MG42 machine gun, my 50 caliber sniper rifle, and the obliterator from the Mission to Mars DLC pack.
Okay, so I'm a big bow and arrow fan, so my ears perked up when you said that, because if there's a game that has a bow and arrow, I will only use the bow and arrow exclusively, because it never gets enough love.
I'm not using any throwables other than the throwing knife this playthrough too, which is very difficult in Faith's area, because I'm on Faith's area right now. She's the last one. I already did the other two, and there's all the bliss flowers that you have to burn, and I don't carry a flamethrower. So figuring out ways to light these fields on fire without using Molotovs or a flamethrower has been pretty challenging.
Can you drive a car in the center and like shoot the car and it explodes? Does that work?
That's like, in my mind, that's cheap, so I'm luring the cult
into
the
field. That's hardcore, dude.
And I'm shooting it with the obliterator, and it blows up and burns the field down.
That's awesome.
Which is a huge self-imposed pain in the ass, but it's funny to watch.
I read a study that said there was a case study specifically on Fallout 5, because I guess at that point they had a lot better player metrics to track what you were doing based on your save file. And they said, I think 85% of the players went south first to take out the brother in the south first.
That's because in the tutorial, in the beginning, there's the guy Dutch who like kidnaps you and takes you to his shelter on that little island.
You don't mean Dutch Vanderlyn, the annoying character in Red Dead Redemption 2, one of the worst games ever, right?
No, I don't.
Okay, just checking. Carry on. Good.
I mean Dutch from Far Cry 5, who helps you through the tutorial. He tells you who the seed siblings are, and he tells you where they are, and a little bit about their region, and then he says you can do anything you want, but I would suggest going here, and then it puts a map marker there. So they pretty much want you to start with him.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting, because that was not mentioned in the study. But if they're telling you that's the first quest mission, then clearly. I would be curious on like Skyrim, what percentage of people go to Whiterun and spend 30 to 50,000 hours there.
What did I do first?
Dude, everybody goes to Whiterun. That's where it's at, man.
No, I turned left.
Okay. You didn't follow.
I got out of Helgen. The first time I ever played, I got out of Helgen and I turned left. I didn't want to follow that dragon.
Straight out of Helgen. The Phil McCracken story. Well, for me, I've been playing a little more than you, and I have been obsessed with Rogue Legacy 2, which just came out on Early Access. You don't play any Early Access games, do you?
What's Early Access?
Okay, then that's the answer. So you may know Mr. Xbox guy, maybe not. Maybe they need to do a better job advertising it. They do offer games at a discount, and they're known as Early Access games. And what those are games that are not completely developed. And you, the fan, get to influence the designers by participating in broken, buggy messes and going on the forums as an unpaid beta tester to tell everybody what you like and don't like about it. And as the game grows, you grow with it. When the full game comes out, you get it because you've already kind of been grandfathered in at a cheaper price. And you get to help make the game what you think it should be. A lot of companies do this. Steam is notorious for it. There's a lot of different names for it, but it's early access. That's really what the idea is. And I love Rogue Legacy so much that I am doing this as we speak. I am filling out bug reports. I am writing to them. I'm saying, hey, wouldn't it be cool if? And I am participating that way, and I love it.
Cool story, bro.
I think it's more of a PC thing, though.
Sell me a complete game. You guys figure that shit out. You go play the early broken one, and I'll play the finished product, and I will go ahead and take a product that has hundreds of people involved with its production, tons of fans, thousands of hours, and I'll throw some arbitrary number at it. Yeah, music was okay, gameplay sucked, 6 out of 10. Fuck all of you.
Meanwhile, we're pouring our heart out because I want this game to be
Exactly.
amazing. I mean, for me personally, Rogue Legacy, the first one was my first ever roguelike game. Loving everything about it, loving time with it, spending way too long beating it. So when I heard they were coming out with the second one, I was ready. I was ready. I know you're laughing because of what I said, because you're a
I
pervert.
spent way too much time beating it.
Beating
You
it.
all hear it, or you heard it here, folks. You heard it here.
I'll
Look
tell
at
you
that
what,
beard.
this wrist can stop bullets. Like Wonder Woman has the cuffs. I don't need one. This is the most powerful wrist alive.
I forgot what little hands you have. I remember when we salsa danced, I was like, ooh, they're like little girl hands. This is great.
Because you were sitting there like a big mope and not having fun, and I had to like pull
No,
you
I
out
was
of your
having
shell.
fun. I specifically remember leaning back in my chair, laughing hysterically, watching you shake that ass. I was having lots of fun, buddy. I was
I
having
was
a great.
dancing with my wife. I was dancing with your wife. I was dancing with Donald Duck. And then I'm like, get Phil in on this action.
See, nobody knows what we're talking about,
No.
and you just arbitrarily mentioned Donald Duck. Now, I can't imagine what conclusions people are going to draw for this. Hint: my wife and I went on our honeymoon, which is where Jim and Rachel and my wife and I all met. They were on a vacation, and it was on a Disney Cruise Line ship. So, question answered. And the salsa dancing, I don't know how we got there. It was late.
Did you bring your Switch on the cruise ship?
Yes, I did.
Did you play
Absolutely.
it? I brought mine.
Yes,
I didn't
I
touch
did.
it once. Oh, you did. I
Yes,
didn't. I didn't touch it at all.
Yep.
I was so tired. Come back to the room after like the seventh dinner. I just would pass out on the couch.
Yeah, that food.
Way
The
too
food was
much.
ridiculous. I spent a
Um,
lot of money, and I spent a lot of money and ate a lot of food. That's the two takeaways I got from that cruise.
absolutely, but it was fun. So all in all, I'd say a quieter news week. I'll say thank you. I don't know what's going on, but thank you. I
Don't
was
worry about it.
looking away. That was my blind spot because I'm looking off to my show notes to make sure I captured everything. I caught the tail end of that, and good. We'll just leave that there.
You'll get it in post.
I think we covered everything this week. I mean, it's been, the ebbs and flows of gaming. It's sometimes there's stuff that we run out of things to talk about, and sometimes it's kind of a lighter week. I will be really curious if, I've seen a lot of leaks about PlayStation release dates. I didn't really talk about it much today because it's still just unknown, but um, as of right now, man, it's quiet. We're just chugging along in a COVID world, man, playing our old games and just relaxing.
Yeah, Jim spends way too much time beating it.
And on that note, Phil, would you like to do us the honor, sir, and send us out?
Just like Jim's never-ending and unceasing schedule of masturbation, war never changes.